So I first put it on Instagram on my own account, and then I eventually set up a Kate's Keto account, which I don't use that often. Kate with a C, the same as this, and that I just kept going, and I actually found it brilliant. Now, I didn't record absolutely every day, but when I look back, I'm like, this is brilliant. It is like a story, even to me, because you forget really easily. You forget that you were once a bit fatter. You forget that you were once a bit less motivated. And it really did help, not just in the beginning, but even now. I find myself accountable to my videos. I said I'm going to do something. Now I don't always do it, but I also look back at the time, say I did a fast. I did a 17-day water fast last year. And you forget that you did something, you kind of forget that, oh, I actually did that, because after you do the 17-day water fast, you never want to fast again. You're just like anti-fasting. Plus your body gets very metabolically efficient. And it's very hard to lose weight after that kind of fast. I have struggled ever since to lose weight, because your body gets so metabolically efficient. It expects starvation at other times. So it is kind of a challenge to the body. Now, I must say I felt brilliant after it. I felt so brilliant. It was probably a bit long. I would say probably 5 to 7 days if you're going to do a really long fast, but you have to build up to it, which I had. I started off with, say, a 12-hour fast for a body that wasn't used to fasting in any description. I'd be the type of person, I would eat late into the night and I would have to eat immediately when I woke up. I would even wake up earlier just to get food. So I wasn't waking up early in the morning because I'm some kind of amazing early bird, which I am an early bird really, but I would get up 2 hours before having to do anything, go to work or whatever, because I would be needing to eat. So I was a carbs. Like, I think of vegetarians. I was a vegetarian for a good few years, kind of drifted into veganism. Then now I eat meat a lot of the time. I still can be very vegetarian, but I tend to have a more kind of balanced approach now. And I don't care if people are vegetarian, vegan, however you get your proteins, fats, and low carb, fiber, like Brussels sprouts, and all of the kind of cruciferous vegetables. They're my number one pick. And then after that, anything veggies, any fruit, whatever you feel is high fiber. That's the aim with those kind of carbs. It's not the sugars really, but of course we're all addicted to sugar. Sugar is an addictive substance. I love it myself. So I had to say goodbye to my favorite things, which was sugar, anything with sugar in it, beer and bread. So bread, oh my God, I am just such a bread fan. If that's all I could ever eat, I would just eat that. And it was very difficult. It was very, very difficult. Even, okay, physically, probably after 3 or 4 days, it starts to drain down the addiction. But mentally, every meal I've ever eaten has been with carbs. Oh, but not every meal I've ever eaten, but since the age of around 15, when I had control over my own food because I was working and I was buying my own goodies, every meal had carbs, because you get the rush, which I thought was the good thing. I thought that was the normal thing. No. So now I understand about even blood sugar. Now, what I would say is that if you're in something like an exam situation, or if you're doing something artistic, you need to break loose. You need to have some sugar, and you need to have some maybe alcohol or whatever, but other than that, it's lovely, even blood sugar. You'll feel amazing. Nothing will stress you out. You'll mentally, physically, I mean, I can tell you this stuff and you'll be going, yeah, she is bullshitting. But I can tell you that it's true. Every part of your body, right down to your fingertips and your toe tips, will be functioning properly. Those yellow ends on the ends of your skin of your toes or your fingers that you once had, where no oxygen was reaching because your blood was so sludgy from an overconsumption of refined carbs, is going to stop. You're going to almost feel it, where your blood is running so beautifully, your lymph, all of your stuff is operating so well that it's going everywhere. It's going into your brain. at every part. Not, whereas before it would be like fatigue, brain fog, worn out aches and pains, not really, that motivated to do anything. No, that's not to say there are things I don't want to do or I don't like. Plenty things I don't want to do and I don't like, but it makes everything much easier. So I'm really glad that I video recorded, even though obviously like anyone, I look back at some of my stuff and I go, even if I look at something I did yesterday, I'm like, oh my God, you cringe. Or if I'm doing those videos where I'm trying to match up the song and I miss the beat, I'm like, why did you put that up there? But sometimes there is humor in our errors. And there's also, for every good video, you're going to have lots of bad videos. So, and you have to post them. You kind of have to post them because some days are not going to be, you're not going to be on your A game. You're going to be kind of half-hearted, or you're just too tired. You've done your walk, you've done your cooking, and you couldn't be arsed. And it's just a kind of a video that isn't up to par. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And you'll get a thick skin because people would point out that it was a crap video, or, and I've also gotten a handle on, likes. Most people don't like stuff anymore because the algorithm immediately, you like something, a cat video or a dog video, and the next thing there's 4 million cat and dog videos in your stream. So that has actually changed how people interact with videos, which is perfectly fine. That doesn't bother me at all. Whereas it might have in the beginning. I think I was really lucky. I was so desperate. I was so incredibly desperate when I started the ketogenic diet, which initially I was very skeptical of. And I thought, what is this Dr. Berg on about? He's waffling. He's full of shit. It didn't even matter that at the time he had about 12 million followers. Now he has about 15, 16, 17 million followers. And then you see all these other guys that are like trying to debunk him, and they say, oh, he's only a chiropractor and whatever. You don't need a medical degree to understand what's going on in the human body. Anyway, in the States, being a chiropractor is practically the same as being a doctor. Sorry, docs. But then I started discovering all of these other people. I must have watched 50, 60 different people coming at it from different angles, not all keto. I would see the detractors and I would see anybody else. So I am very good at looking at everything and taking a balanced view. I do not just listen to one strand of something and say, oh, well, that's fine then. That's absolutely the truth. I am very good at researching, and I do not, if there's a red flag and it's waving, I listen. I was always like that, but I think I kind of lost it somewhere along the way, because I think adults, as we grow up, we're kind of taught to ignore our instincts. And I'm not blaming anybody for that. I think it's just the way it is. But was always a person, I think it's because I'm the sixth child of 9, and I was kind of on my own for a couple of years before my brother was born. And I think you get great skills of observation because nobody is taking any notice of you. My mother already had 3 sons and 2 daughters, so I was not really relevant. I don't think, maybe she didn't even notice that. So I was not really high up in the pecking order. If there were any, as I grew up, if there were any jobs to be gotten, I was down the line. So I was pretty much able to observe, and would never have been quite old enough to get one of the jobs because there was so many ahead of me. So there's so much value in being the middle child. Lower middle. So I was always kind of very observant, and probably, why I was good at art at school, because you kind of need to be good at observation for that kind of stuff. And always very analytical, and that kind of, helps. So I do not just take one thing. Oh, Dr. Berg made a lot of videos. I totally follow that. I look at lots of people. I looked at all his detractors. I started looking at other people who were coming at it from a different angle, and all of these other people. I must make a list, actually. I have a list somewhere, but I must find it on Excel. I like Excel stuff. So then I started my own version of keto. So my ketogenic diet is not exactly, ketogenic diet tends to be around 80% fat. It kind of was developed for epileptics way back in 1918. And it is designed for 80% fat, kind of 15+% protein, and then the rest in fibrous carbohydrates. So natural carbohydrates I have probably 60% fat, maybe 50% fat. The rest is protein, and a lot more of that, I would say 15%, 10 to 15% is protein. I probably could do with a little bit more protein. So I supplement with collagen, but I could do with more protein and glycine. I take those things separately as supplements because I am always a little bit vegetarian in my approach to food, because I don't eat like massive mounds of meat, but I do like eating meat. So I probably could improve on my protein. But anyway, for now, that's how I'm getting my protein. Some days I don't eat any meat, any animal products at all. I just would have protein in, maybe pea protein or pea powder or something like that. Anyway, so I'm not against veganism or vegetarianism in getting your kind of keto. And then the rest would be fiber. So it's not exactly keto. I call it Kate's keto because it kind of rhymed nicely. And I didn't use Kate, Kate, because my name is Catherine with a C. And I'm kind of obsessive about these things. It really irritates me when people might call me Kate with a K, which happened recently. I'm rarely called Kate, but somebody called me Kate with a K. And I was like, my name is Catherine with a C, so it's Kate with a C. Anyway, so I was trying to probably be a bit trendy as well. So that is how that kind of happened. So I then embarked on, I hate cooking. I will be honest, I hate cooking. I am so cranky when I'm cooking. Nothing that I cook makes me happy. I am just a beast. I'm a very good cook, but I hate it so bad. But I have to force myself. So there are days when I don't cook, and I am quite happy to eat a bag of lettuce out of the pack. I do not need to put stuff on a plate. It is better in terms of weight control if that's your main aim, which it isn't mine at the moment, although I could do with it. Then it's better because you're sitting down, you're just having your 1 or 2 meals. So I think that is better for control over that stuff. But I'm quite happy to get a bag of rocket leaves and just eat them at the fridge, even though I'm telling the kids not to stand in the fridge door to save energy. So I am really into the fiber part. So I think the fiber part is very important. Like the protein part obviously is important as well, whatever way you get it. And then the fats. Omega-3, some way, whatever way you get that, you need to get omega-3 for your brain, for your body, for your limbs, for your joints, for everything. You need omega-3. There are lots of other supplements. I would supplement with that. So I take an omega-3 fish oil, DHA and EPA, which is in it, and that is very important for your brain health and whatever. Also for your cholesterol. Cholesterol is made of fats. So it's what carries the hormones. These are the worst earbuds, but they are a nice color, lovely purple. So you need to take good fats. I eat butter, real butter. The Tesco one is definitely the best. I buy the Aldi and Lidl one as well, but it says they don't have anything else added, but they just don't break down in the cold. They're like solid when they're out, even coming into the summer in Ireland. Oxymoron. But the Tesco one seems to be very good quality. I must look into it more, but they all say that they don't contain anything except butter. So the Lidl and Aldi ones do appear to contain some kind of vegetable fats to make them so solid. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. So olive oil, I take a shot of olive. I haven't really taken one recently because at the moment I'm kind of, but I take a shot of extra virgin olive oil every now and again, and that helps as well with the fats. So I don't have exactly a ketogenic diet. If someone was to come and analyze, they'd be like, hey, it's not exactly ketogenic. So I would be heavy on the fiber, probably about the same as the ketogenic on the meat, on the protein part. And I would definitely have a lot of fats. Maybe not 80%, but definitely a lot. It's so important to have good fats. And you think that they'll make you fat. That's not what makes you fat. I have cream in my coffee, double cream. That's not what makes you fat. What makes you fat are the carbs. The carbs go into your tummy. Sorry, area. Into your tummy. The your blood sugar rises rapidly, which you won't notice if you're eating fats and meat and protein. Your blood sugar rises rapidly. The next thing, insulin is released. So you're trying to keep your insulin down. Now, you don't have an easy measure of insulin probably available to you, as I don't. I usually use my keto sticks if I want to know, but I kind of know my blood sugar is even. So next thing, insulin is released. Insulin is the sugar storage, sugar management, fat management of the body. So what happens, you eat too many calories, too much sugar, and then your body starts storing. So this is why you never lose weight. This is why you might be a bit chubby. I mean, I'm a bit chubby at the moment because I've been having a great time since Christmas 2024, I think, where I have not stuck rigidly. So 2023, 2024, most of 2023, all of 2024, I was really strict. I looked at my best. And then I started a new job in 2024 and I started kind of sliding a bit because you're with other people. That's one of the things. You want to be sociable. You're going for lunches or whatever. So you start to eat a little bit more carbs. And I found carbs drifted back into my life a bit more, which was fine. And you immediately put on weight. But I have been able to manage it to a certain degree. And then, of course, I started back having some drinks at Christmas in 2024 and then 2025 as well. So you're going to have a little bit of that. And I, in the last 2 or 3 days, have decided that I'm not going to have any carbs or any drinks until the 10th of September. We'll see about that. But anyway, to try and get myself cleaned up again, even though there was no massive impact, except I just noticed I had a little bit of a drag. I couldn't even really explain it because part of me was going, is this because I had drinks at the weekend or whatever? But I definitely think now that I'm probably 4 or 5, when was the weekend? Today's Thursday. So since last Saturday, I'd say I have noticed a substantial difference. So I would say that it definitely was that. So alcohol is very heavy on your liver. However, I'm not against alcohol, definitely not. But I just think that I'm going to clean up for a while and see. I'm also increasing my vitamin C because I'm doing a bit of experimentation. If you see some of my TikTok videos, I'm doing experimentation on supplements. Anyway, I'll leave it there because this video is getting a little bit long. But what I'm saying is I'm going to put in my TikTok and my Instagram, and we can I'm having a whole new journey now that I am 3 years in to see what I am going to really double down on. So see you guys. Join me in this TikTok, in this ketogenic journey or Kate's keto type, because it is so important to look after your body and your brain. So important. And there is a new study released, Dr. Bredesen, I think I've said it wrong, but The End of Alzheimer's, he wrote the book, The End of Alzheimer's Dementia. I am 100% that you can prevent dementia and Alzheimer's. It is growing so rapidly in our society, and it is from chronic overuse of refined carbohydrates. And people would like to pin that on alcohol or this or that. That's not true. Plenty people who do not drink alcohol get Alzheimer's dementia. It is from too many biscuits, too much bread, too much potatoes, too much rice, too much any kind of refined carbs, including rice, unfortunately, including potatoes. You are going to have some level of insulin resistance, and it is now widely accepted that dementia and Alzheimer's are insulin resistance of the brain. You should get Dr. Ben Bickman's book, and also this guy, Dr. Bredesen. He has just finished a study which came out in 2025. It's currently being peer reviewed, but it is published and it is available online, about a study they did, a very good study on hundreds of people and they got rid of 90% reversal, 90% of dementia, Alzheimer's. Talk to you soon, guys. Take care.